Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking a new video of mine. It means that you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. We have 9 people. I mean, we're now in the single digits, Sky. Do you feel like this season's gotten worse over time, better over time? What's the idea here?
Uh, I mean, it's kind of gone up and down. There's been some stretches of kind of
Okay.
mediocre episodes, but there's also been some pretty good
What
ones.
stretch specifically do you feel like is the worst?
Here, let me make sure. Let me fact check to make sure I get the right vote outs. Because
Okay.
some
Okay.
people might be mad about that. Uh, the stretch I think like was kind of mediocre, like the Helen, to like Claire, Sarah. I thought that was just kind of like meh,
Huh. Interesting.
that part.
I
And
I think I
then
think the only bad stretch has been the last two because we've gotten
Well,
fake
I was
merge.
also gonna say, yeah, the fake merge stretch also wasn't the best
Yeah, I mean,
ever.
just the 2 episodes before the last one, I think is the only bad stretch. I like the pre-merge overall, like basically all of the episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the merge, the earn the merge, and the quote unquote merge, even though it's not really a merge,
Merge.
because we've had 2 episodes masquerading as merge episodes that really aren't at all. They're just basically swap episodes
Mhm.
with extra steps and more twists and more unfairness. But I feel like now that we've gotten the actual merge, we've actually hit the real merge. It gives us a lot of, I guess, opportunity to delve into so much strategy. I mean, there's like a decent amount of people here. We got our vote with the most people in the game. I guess technically the earn the merge one had more, but half the people weren't eligible to go home. In fact, over half. So to me, this is really the first merge vote, and of course, it leaves us with Danny making a fantastic move. Danny has now opened himself up as a huge target, as Bitter would say if he was here, I'm sure, because Bitter was very against Danny making that move. For me, it's just like, it's good TV. Who cares? Like, it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, would you rather him not have done that? It would have been a much more boring episode. So I don't know. I really don't see the hate for Danny making this move. I get it, like on paper, and maybe it's not the best, but it's not some sort of ridiculously stupid move. And I feel like at worst, it just puts a target on him. And at best, it basically wins him the game single-handedly. And when we get to Danny on my list, I'll explain more about that. How do you feel about just the move without spoiling your list here?
Uh, okay. Uh, I I don't think it's a bad move. I don't think it's
Okay.
a bad move. The connection between him and Brandon seemed like there was something there, but like it didn't seem like like he totally just like absolutely blundered the situation.
Right.
And now he's gonna get better though. Like no. He's
Okay. Fair enough.
I can see what people might think like put a target on him. I get it, but he also like has some fallback plans just
Do,
if that
do, do,
happens.
I have a question. If you're Danny, do you like having Franny more as an ally now, or Brandon, which I guess is kind of the other like path that he could have taken?
Uh, I think that I think I'd rather have Franny honestly, and
I
not
mean, yeah,
strategic threat. Like is Brandon really that big of a threat? I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I feel like Brandon's problem is that he brings attention towards your entire alliance. So he may take attention off of you specifically, but at the end of
Maybe,
the day, your alliance is going to have a huge target. And
yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem here. Let's get into these power rankings. We're going 9-1, worst to best. Players who are in the most trouble to winner picks, whatever you want to call it, at 9 here. I'm keeping it simple. I have Lauren, the person who has not gotten at all any content that really is
Mm-hmm.
important. I mean, she's gotten the worst edit. A
I
close
agree.
second for as far as like the confessionals go for lowest amount of confessionals is Heidi, and we feel like we kind of know Heidi to this point. So if she's the clear lowest person, you would think that she's not going to win. Then again, 41 proves this theory wrong, that even the fucking torch can win Survivor. I mean, anyone can win if you're out there, I guess. I don't know. So I'm just praying to God that Lauren doesn't win. I would sincerely take the 8, 7, 6, 5 spots, all of them, over Lauren here, because at least there's something there. Maybe not my 8. I mean, my 8 is also pretty equally just no. But Lauren is clearly the person who I would want to win the least at this point. And if she were to win, it would ruin the season for me. do you feel like a Lauren win is even possible, or is that just like totally out of the realm, or is that just being hopeful and could it actually happen?
I don't know, man. I thought Erica winning was pretty much out of the conversation too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you never know. You never
Yeah, but
know.
you would think because like Erica got like that big thing at the merge, like that was her quote unquote like big
Well, her
moment.
big thing, her getting on the island.
Yeah, her getting literally choosing rocks and getting put on an
I
island
don't
and then
know if I
and then
really call
making.
that a big move necessarily, but
I
you
get
know,
it, but I mean at the end of the day, like
yeah, I guess she had like what a confessional there, you know. Um,
I
I
mean
I, I don't know, man.
to me it's like at least she had that moment, maybe I should say, or as Tony would say, moment. So I feel like she had that. What does Lauren have here for her giant moment?
Not getting voted out in episode
Yeah,
one.
she's got the pull a Cassidy, which is that I never got a vote. It's like really, you never got a vote because no one ever knew your name on the island. You just didn't speak.
I mean,
So
yeah, I agree. Like I have her at last too. So
okay,
it's like,
yeah. I mean, do you have anything to add? I feel like that's kind of pretty self-explanatory, to be honest.
you're invisible. Who are you?
Like, who
You're a
are
ghost.
you? All right, number 8. I have Kane at number 8.
Ooh.
I said that Kane was a close second for me because his alliance is it's not going to win the game. I mean, it's so clear that if this is going to be a battle between the Green Tribe and the Orange Tribe will lose in the end. It has to, because everyone on the Green Tribe to some extent has winner equity. No one on the Orange Tribe has winner equity, and the closest is Kane. But the reason he's at the bottom here is because he's the best player probably in his alliance left. It's him, Jamie, and Lauren. That's your alliance, bro? Come on now. You, Jamie, and Lauren is your alliance. You have zero winner equity. I mean, I guess you could say Jamie has friends. I mean, that's like her thing, I guess. But like, is Jamie going to win the season? The Jamie who's gotten basically made fun of the entire season by people around her and the edit. Is Lauren going to win the season? Of course not. It's Lauren. She's gotten like 2 words the entire season. And so it leaves Kane. And it's like, yes, Kane could win here. He has the best edit out of all of them, but he has the best edit compared to like pots and pans. So I just, the reason that Kane stays lower than Jamie is because Jamie has some upside in the game, and we really haven't seen Kane be able to play the game effectively. At every stage, he has failed. Here, and then especially in the first episode where we really got most of the Orange Tribe's pre-merge content, we saw Kane fail there too. So I've only seen Kane fail in the game, and I feel like that's kind of why my first instinct is to put him just really, really low here, above the only person who's has a worse edit than him, really. So yeah, number 8.
I get the thought process, but I just can't put Jamie at,
Fair enough.
you
Yeah,
know.
fair enough. I mean,
I get the whole like maybe she has some upside, but like if Kane and her into the final 3, I think Kane wins. Like I think
yeah. Well, I don't know. I really don't
I
know.
think it's close, but I think Kane pulls it out, and I think there's at least like a storyline there, maybe, you know. And we also had that
Yeah,
mini storyline that
yeah,
Kane had. All we had
yeah.
from Jamie is like, "Oh, I'm a doofus. I have a fake
I mean,
idol." Gooey, you
like
know, like
like I was gonna say about like she's a woman, but she's an older woman, and older women
yeah,
don't
she's
get that same feminist support, I guess. So
exactly.
there is upside there. I guess kind of the curiosity there would be, why would they all be at the end together? Because they're all going to get voted out, or at least some of them are. Like, there's no way that the last 3 has 2 or more of them. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, would make sense. Yeah.
It doesn't line up with the strategy in the edit. It has to be, well, definitely at least 1 purple, if not 2, and then at least 1 green, if not 2. And I guess Orange is hoping to get 1 person there to the end at this point. Although I do think it's going to be an all green and purple final 3. So it really leaves us with a question like, where does this Orange Tribe fall? Do they go out right now? Do they stick around? Do they all go out like 6, 4, and 5? Like, what's the deal here? And I guess that's kind of the question that we'll be asking for the next few weeks. Number 7, I have Heidi. So I'm actually not going to go Orange at the bottom completely here. I have to put Heidi here just because, like, out of all of the people on these 2 tribes that have great winner equity, being the purple and the green tribe, to me, Heidi is the person who kind of sticks out as someone who clearly has to go soon. We've seen clear flaws in her game, specifically her kind of snitching on her ally. We've seen her kind of just be off on certain things. We've seen her make moves that were questionable. Nothing too abrasive, but it just you really get the vibe that she's being set up to be like the fallen lamb on her tribe. If everybody from purple and green is going to get to the end, the one person who's not going to get to the end is Heidi to me, based on the edit. On top of that, I do think she's one of the worst players out of this green and purple tribe bunch, probably the worst. And so she kind of ends up staking out here at 7. Who do you have at 7?
Let me see. At 7, I'm pretty sure I have a clean sweep of the oranges. I have Kane at 7.
Wow,
So,
wow, you have all 3 at the bottom, huh?
yeah.
You know, I thought it would go like kind of different, where I would have the oranges at the bottom, and then you would have them up top and be arguing that, well, now it's gonna flip. But I kind of like that we agree here. I guess I'll play devil's advocate. Do you think
For
that the
Jamie.
game? Well, just no, just in general for the oranges. Do you
Okay.
think the game could flip now, and then now for like a round or maybe 2, the game goes against the green or purple
I
tribe?
mean, it isn't Survivor Borneo. Like flips are gonna happen, and I'm sure one of these oranges is gonna get a little bit farther than the other ones. I'm
Definitely.
sure the purples are gonna eventually like be like, oh hey Heidi, or oh hey Danny, or whatever. You know, maybe
Definitely,
they're getting in
yeah,
the way, and we have the numbers because even if we do flip, we'll still be able to go to either side. You know, so
yeah.
I assume one of these oranges.
I can
I'm
see,
thinking Jamie might get there longer, but
yeah, yeah, fair. Yeah, probably Jamie, and that's again why I have her the highest out of all of them. Um, I'm just curious, and I guess it's the best time to just say my 6 is Jamie, kind of rounding out these oranges. The reason that I have a little bit of upside here on her, not only the fact that she quote unquote has friends in the game, but more importantly, I feel like not only are we going to get a flip back to the orange tribe here, where the purple people go with the orange tribe going against the green tribe, but we may even get both sides come together to get out a Tika member from the purple tribe, because eventually they're gonna have to see eventually that the purple tribe is running the game, and when that happens, I guarantee you, maybe at 7 or 8, we're totally getting a someone on the purple tribe going, whether it's Carolyn or Jam Jam or Carson is to be seen. I tend to think it would be Carson, just because Jam Jam, I feel like, to me, has such upside right now that he's out of the fog and seems to be in a much better spot. I get that Jam Jam's been a threat forever, but I feel like Carson's just sitting a little bit too pretty here. But we'll just have to see. Number 6 for you, right?
Yeah, my number 6 is Heidi.
Heidi. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we kind of
Least
talked about her.
strategic
We
out
can
of
go
the
to
greens, yeah. So
yeah, she is just the worst player out of the green and purple tribe, which is enough said, really. So you had a clean sweep of orange, and then
Heidi.
Heidi, which is the exact same thing I have, just in a different order. I have Kane Lauren at 8 and 9, 7 Heidi, and then 6 Jamie. So to start out our top 5, which is the same for both of us, I have Massa at 5. So for me, the reason that I have Massa lower than everybody else is because Massa has the biggest threat. Massa has a huge threat. And on top of that, I don't think Massa is as good of a player needed to kind of counteract that threat. He's a great player. Like don't get me wrong. He's probably better than Carolyn, who's in my top 4. I think that just the issue is Carolyn's in such a better spot. Massa is not, because all it takes is the purple tribe flipping back to the Ratu people, and now Massa is going to have a huge target on his back. He may win a challenge or 2, but eventually, when the purple decide to go with the orange, the person who will be targeted is Massa. It will happen eventually, and when that happens, he's going to be screwed. It's just a matter of how far can he just play that off and play that off and play it off until eventually he can get close enough to go on a run, or to just get some magical like ally or whatever, or something. But eventually he's going to get targeted here with both tribes coming after him, and that's going to be a game ender to me. It's just a matter of when. What do you have at 5, right?
Yeah, at 5, I actually disagree. I have Franny at 5. See,
wow, okay.
Franny, in all reality, should have gone home this episode. Like we all know that, right? Like it's
okay,
but
she didn't.
Danny would not. Yeah, but Danny wouldn't have. He was never even in the position, But and even from here on out, like like yeah, like Danny played the idol, but it's also like how many times has someone played an idol and then lasted like a significant amount of time after that, or like
I mean, it happens. It's kind of just half
like
and half.
it happens to Mike, like is like because like
Well,
I'm
yeah,
talking about like
but
3 or more
it,
tribal
it
councils. Like it
happens. It
rarely
really,
happens.
I don't think that's really a factor. I think you see it with like Wentworth, where she plays it at 11 and then gets to 4. Like it happens. But
That's
then
like a rare
but then
case.
there's also times where,
They go to the very
this is
next tribal.
yeah, you go to the next
Yeah,
time or the time after
in my opinion,
the
like
next. It
in
really
my
is half and
opinion,
half.
if you're in the merge, right, or like kind of late pre-merge, and you go back to like if you've already done enough where you get voted out, I feel like your grave's been dug. You're basically you're a dead man walking. I don't know. I
Yeah, I
feel
mean,
like
I disagree just because like you can always luck your way to the end, and a lot of times it's not as simple as just the threat goes home. What I think the issue is if you're a threat, you need to postpone and come up with an excuse. So whether the excuse is an immunity win, whether it's an idol, whether it's a lie that you're
I
telling
don't
people,
necessarily think
something.
so. I
And
think
I really think that Massa is going to have to excuse his way all the way to the end. Whereas in Franny right now has no target really at
I
all.
mean she was the target of the last vote. Like if
Again,
she,
I feel like your argument's based in the past, and
it's not
that would
really.
hold on, but and it is it's completely based on what happened last episode, what happened in the past, which would be awesome if that was the MVP, like conversation that we always do at the end of the live shows. But this is the powering is for the future. So I would kind of throw it back on you to prove why you think Franny is in a worse spot going forward than Massa.
Okay, well,
Or sorry.
Shardy.
Yeah, worse, right? Yeah.
Okay, well, Shardy has the okay. Well, we try to vote her off once. No one's gonna have an out, and you can just get her out really easily. That's always an option. It's never not an option,
But
right?
it's also a much easier option to go after the person who just played his own, right?
I mean, I don't know. You never know. Like with Franny, it's like okay, if we
If
if
your
we
argument
I
is
don't.
if your argument is you never know, that's a pretty bad argument.
What do you mean? Like it's
Yeah.
true in Survivor though. Like
But
Danny is more of a wild card, where Franny is just kind of like you can very easily get rid of her. If you wanted to get rid of her already, why don't just do it? Yeah.
I'm confused, but didn't we just go over the fact the person who's the easy boot doesn't go home? Isn't that what we just talked about?
That's not true. Like the easy vote here was Franny, and it should have been Franny, but just because what I'm
And then she
saying.
doesn't go home. So if she's the easy vote, then she wouldn't go. See, the logic doesn't work either
No, it
way.
does, dude. There's many times where the easy vote is the person that gets voted out in Survivor. In newer seasons, it
But
happens quite
we
frequently.
just finished saying that it goes the other way too, where the person who's the big threat goes home. So which way is it?
Okay, well, I don't necessarily think Danny's going to be like this, like humongous threat. Like that's why I have him higher up.
Well,
Is
I
because I still don't.
disagree. I think he's painted himself as the biggest threat, but I should probably add I don't think I mentioned this. I do think if Danny has now made it, so if he gets to the end, he wins. Period. End of story. He's going to have the best move to this point, and maybe the second best after it's all done and said. And that's if someone makes some giant move in the next 3-4 rounds. He's going to have a top 2 move of the season, which is enough to win. So at this point, he has paved his path to win. What has Franny done? You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like Mass's upside.
Well, that's
is there.
another thing. Why, like, I also have him up higher is because I think if he gets to the end, he has a better chance of winning.
Yeah,
It goes both ways.
I totally get it, but at the end of the day, I do think Franny's in a better spot in the game.
Well, okay, so do we think? Look, there's 3 people left on each tribe, right?
Right.
So there isn't even like a guarantee that the T-Cur just going to go flip on the Ratu and all the Ratu are going to go home. I mean, I think it's going to happen.
The Tika are probably just going to flip back to the Ratu and vote out a person on the green tribe, which is
us.
And I think that's going to be Massa or Heidi. I feel like Franny's too obvious now.
I think it's either Franny or Heidi. I think it actually might be Heidi.
Franny or Heidi.
No, what I'm saying is I think that if the next Soka God, I think actually is going to be Heidi because we've got nothing from her. And it's not gonna, like next episode. If Heidi went home, I'd be like, like I think that's kind of Heidi's trajectory. I don't know if she's gonna really be a finale person. I don't think.
I understand what you're saying.
She should be.
I mean, I just said myself. I think that it could be Danny or Heidi. I just don't see Franny here. I just like, what's the threat now? Her boyfriend's gone. I just don't see it. Like,
do you have like Franny like pretty high up or just like?
We'll just have to see, I guess. But
all right, so
next week we have 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 4. I have Carolyn. She's dropped actually
Whoa.
from 1 last week just because we didn't get anything. I mean, we've gotten nothing the past really two episodes, which is a little bit scary. I think her edit's fine. She's doing just fine. It's whatever. It's fine. But if this is a 3rd episode in a row where she gets like 1 confessional, then we're gonna start to
Let's pack up the
have.
bags.
Well, it isn't our pack of
Over.
the bags, but like maybe her spot is now gonna stay 4. You know, like I'm bringing it down to 4 just because I do feel like, in no specific order, Carson, Franny, and Jam Jam are all in better spots and have edits that are at least somewhat near hers. And
Carolyn's
Carolyn's edit,
merge run was
yeah,
insane though.
I get it, but at the end of the day, Carolyn's edit's not.
No, I'm
coming
just
back.
saying, like,
Yeah, no,
like
right.
it's come back down to earth. Like, we haven't gotten
Right.
a lot from her in the past, like, what,
Right,
2-3 episodes.
which is so, and so now it comes down to 1 pure game ability, which I mean,
She
even
doesn't have
Massa.
that.
I mean, Massa has better, like game ability than her, even though he's below her.
He's also
And
like the best player in the season.
And most importantly, position in the game, which I mean, I think everybody beats her out, maybe except Jam Jam. And now that Jam Jam is safe, it's really just his threat level. His position's fine. It's just his threat level. Carolyn, I think her biggest savior right now is that her threat level is 0. Nobody's even talked about getting her out at the merge, which is fantastic for her game. But of course, no one can talk about it forever, and then they just blindside you at 7. So again, I'm just gonna hold the brakes on putting Carolyn at 1. I could have swapped her for my next person, but I think I'm gonna keep it how I have it for now. Number 4.
I have Jandy Massa at number 4. So.
Okay, fair enough.
I think I will say this is that a huge reason why like I am highest for is because I just think like you said, like if he gets to the end, basically at this point he wins, you know.
Right.
But I mean,
He's
you
like,
don't know that on the island,
he's
obviously, but it's still kind of like, hey,
he's like Cody. He's like Cody here, where if he gets to the end, he's gonna win against just about anybody, really. You know,
I think the only person, maybe Carson, he might have a little bit of
yeah.
But I still
Carson's
think
Carson's an issue, but not edit wise.
Yeah,
I edit wise, I think if they both got to the end, I think Danny could beat Carson.
Mm-hmm.
But just based on like the fact that like they had said this is one of the most inspiring seasons, I just really feel like it's Carson, Jam Jam, or a girl.
I know. It's just like if they say one of the most inspiring seasons ever, and Danny still went. Like,
yeah.
But maybe it's because he's a firefighter. Like, do you think Danny can like realistically still win? Like, do you think there's any?
I think so
situation?
because I think well, obviously, one we've seen Ben bombs all the way to the end. There's always crazy twists and stuff. And you know he can go on a run or whatever, you know, like that is possible. Let's say he lucks his way to final 7 or 6 and then he wins like the last 3. That's like plausible. Right, yeah. But like to me, it's either he wins and the special story happens during the finale, like at final 4 or 5 or 6, like some sort of inspirational thing. Or
I was a firefighter during 9/11.
Or anybody but him wins, and then it's like an inspirational story going the other way. I mean, literally everybody else has like
that's true. He could just go on an immunity run.
Watch. Jam Jam has the gay story. Carson has the like, you know, like
nerd.
Nerd, skinny, whatever. Franny has the boyfriend. Carolyn, I mean, it's Carolyn. Her whole
drugs.
Season, drugs, but the whole season is her story. Who's next? Jamie, I mean, she's like so emotional, whatever, and she's a mom, whatever. Heidi is her whole Latinx thing or whatever going on.
Kane, she's black.
Yeah. Well, Kane first, his whole Dungeons and Dragons. He's a nerd. He's likable, and then Lauren with the single mom thing. I mean, they all have something except for Danny. Danny, I guess, has the firefighter, but like, is that? I really didn't think.
Well,
of that,
yeah,
you know,
you're kind of right though. Like, if he goes on a run, that could be inspirational. Like, oh, I was dead in the water, but then I went on an immunity run and I ended up winning.
Right.
You know.
So I do feel like everyone's still up at this point, which I like. I just hope that Lauren doesn't win. Basically, anybody else, I think, if they were to get to the end, I'm sure their edits would pick up or come down responsibly if they were to win. So whoever wins, I think this season will be a satisfying winner, unless it's Lauren. That's basically the only bad one. We have number 3, right? Or is it 4 for you? Okay, 3. I have Franny at 3. So no, I don't have Franny in my top 2 like last week. For me, yeah. I mean, for me, it's like the reason that Franny beat out Carolyn this week is because to me, again, Carolyn's edit is not really tanking, but kind of tanking in a way, which is scary. And then obviously on top of that, I feel like to an extent, Jam Jam has kind of taken over part of Carolyn's upside, which is really, really not good for Carolyn because Carolyn needs to keep that upside, and Yam Yam needs to be like the sacrificial lamb person. And so as Yam Yam's stock rises, I think Carolyn's has to fall. And then as far as Franny, just specifically her, of course, her boyfriend's gone now. That really helps both in Survivor and Big Brother when your like showmance leaves, it can really
That's
help
more of a
your
Big
game.
Brother thing. I feel like I don't know.
Definitely, but it happens in both. I mean, I'm specifically thinking about Blood versus Water. Think Tyson, Hayden, like all these guys, like for some reason it hits your mind the right way. And so I'm definitely hopeful that her mind is kind of ticked the right way. I can see that she's playing the game more active now. She did look pretty desperate and lost last round, and that was 100% Danny's move. It was not at all her move.
Yeah.
With that
He
being
didn't even
said,
talk to her. He was just like, I'm doing it. She's like, oh my
right.
God, thank
With
you.
that, right. She just cried. Like she literally did like the perfect stereotypical
What are you
woman
doing?
thing, just like, oh my
Oh my
god,
God,
yeah.
you're playing it for me.
Yeah.
What?
So it's
You
so
shouldn't, but you should.
so it's like yeah, that I get it. But at the end of the day, she's in a better spot than Danny. I mean, at the end of the day, she has like less of a threat on her back. And I mean, is she gonna go out next round? Is she gonna go out? Is she
Yeah.
gonna go out the round after that? Probably not. So I mean, to me, I just feel like Franny's in a better spot than Danny. Although I agree, Franny does need to make one move at least here to have a shot at the end pleading her case.
If she gets to the end, they're just like, you're a goat that got saved by an idol, you know?
I disagree. I think her social game will serve her. Again, she just needs one.
Who do you think she
move.
beats? Okay, let's say she doesn't make a move though. Let's say she just.
Okay, if she doesn't, then she's a goat. I think that again, if she makes any move, honestly, the best comparison is like Marianne. She makes one move the entire game. It's a decent move. It really is a good move, but it's just one the entire game, one move, and like there's
she
one,
wins.
yeah, and she wins. So it's like, and I mean, she was
Do you
out
think
of
she wins over like Danny or Carson, or just like a couple people?
I mean, aside from I think we all assume Danny's going to go before the end. I mean, there's no way.
I'm just saying, like in a hypothetical.
I mean, in a hypothetical. I mean, if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. I mean, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying is like, right? Let's say she makes this one move, whatever it happened. Like, it's not like one of the best moves ever, right? But it's still a move.
She makes a move equal to Marianne's move, which is a really good move.
Okay, do you think she still would? Let's say
she beats
Danny
everyone.
Do you think
she beats everybody except for
Danny and Carson?
Danny and
Carson.
It's Jam Jam is the one that's tough. That's really close.
Like, has he actually done anything?
I mean, I think it's the social game. I think she's very well liked, which again helps a lot. I mean, you see with people like Erica and Marianne, if people like you, you can play an actively bad game of Survivor and win, because at the end of the day, that's how the game goes. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely curious to see Franny and if she can step out of her shell and make a huge move, or if she's gonna stay, be a goat, or if she'll get blindsided soon. Very, very curious. What's your three, and then we'll get to top twos here.
My three is Yam.
So only one Yam, not two.
I said Yam.
Anyways, go ahead. Explain your three.
Well, like I said, I think Yam is pretty well positioned. Like, dudes like him, that's a good thing. But it's also like, has he done anything? And I get it, the social game to a certain extent, people like him. But it's like, if he's in the final three, like, do I think he's gonna win? I don't know. But I still think he's very well positioned. I think there's a chance he's one of those like sad boots that goes out at like 7 or 6 always, but he's in a good spot. I don't think they want to get rid of him. So I'm at 3.
Okay. I mean, and I'm curious, do you think that Jam Jam at this point has played the best game and is the best player? Because think both. I think he's played the best game and is the best. Well, I don't know about the best game, but I think
he's played the best game this season.
No. That's why I just said he. I don't know, but I think on paper he is the best player on this season.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Danny's the only argument. There's nobody.
Yeah, really I was just gonna say Danny's.
But I look at the game and I like just again in a vacuum. We're not talking about specifically this season and their spot, because obviously Danny's dominated his own tribe. But I think in a vacuum, I feel like JMJ is a better player, specifically socially. Strategy, obviously, they're both very, very talented in their own ways. But we'll just have to see. I'm curious who will last longer, who will possibly win. We'll just have to see. My top two: Jam Jam and Carson. 1, Jam Jam. 2, Carson. I have Jam Jam at 1. I've been talking very, positively about him here for a reason. I really see the upside. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I do think right now his edit is doing fantastic. And on top of that, it's not like Carolyn's where it goes up and down. His has been consistently every single episode, 3, 4, 5 confessionals, which is really, really good. Right now, he's leading the pack in confessionals, which isn't a bad thing. Of course, the person who has the most confessionals doesn't always win, but it's never really bad to have the most confessionals in a season almost ever. And so I really do think it's going to come down to whether Yam Yam can just keep his threat level low. I think he already has the game to win as long as he doesn't go up against someone like Danny or whoever else is going to make a giant move here. If those two people, Danny and this mysterious person, goes out, I think he can beat someone like Carson, who's played a very similar game, just kind of building up his friends and not making huge moves. I just think it's going to come down for Jam Jam to keeping his threat level low. And I think Carson's played a very similar game. I think the only difference is Jam Jam I feel like we've seen the game from his perspective a lot more. Carson, we've heard from him a lot, but I don't think that we've seen things necessarily from his perspective, which is obviously not the best thing for his edit. With that being said, Carson is also in a great spot, just like Jam Jam. They're both on this purple tribe. They're both getting winners edits to some extent. Carson's credit, he probably in the end has a lower threat level than Jam Jam does, and has definitely played the game with a lower threat level than Jam Jam does. But at the end of the day, I just think Jam Jam's a better player at Survivor. So yeah, that's what I have in my top 2. What about you?
I still got Carolyn at 2. I did move her down from 1. Okay. Is it just that she just kind of stopped having confessionals for a little bit and then it goes back up, or is this the new norm? I'm not sure. That's why I'm kind of like hesitant to put her lower, because it's like, okay, maybe it just picks up. Like, I'm not sure if it's not there for the next like episode 2, I'm gonna be like, maybe it was all just a fugazi, like what this whole edit thing
is crazy. Go ahead.
Big vocabulary. But number 1, I have Carson. So yeah, Carson is good at Survivor. He didn't die from throwing up, thankfully, or whatever they kind of teased in the last episode. Remember how he was like, "Oh my god,
yeah, facts.
I'm so sick, I'm gonna die."
That was
stop being the baby.
Very worrying for his edit, yeah.
But then it got better. I still think, actually, in a vacuum, that Carson, I don't know, it's closer to him. I think Carson's actually a pretty good player. So
I've been saying that I've been saying that the entire season. I think the only difference is that with Carson, he's a bit too good to be true here, where I feel like every game he's going to play that same solid, going to get you to the merge. But can he get over the hump and win the game? I just feel like at a certain point, his archetype is always getting to the end of the game, and they always get voted out at 7, unless your name is unless your name is Cochran. I mean, the nerd always gets voted out because
I feel like with this cast, actually, it suits him, because I think Carolyn's gonna be a ride or die type, so I feel like at least he has that, she's pretty indebted to him, so maybe there's a way where she actually brings him into the end game. I don't
see Carolyn flipping on. Definitely not Jam Jam, but I could see Carolyn flipping on Carson. So, I mean, I feel like that is kind of Jam Jam's saving grace. He has Carolyn, and I don't think Carolyn would flip on Jam Jam even at 4. I just don't. Mm-hmm. I just don't see it there. So, yeah.
Interesting.
We'll see. Is there any other comments that you just are dying to make before our live show on Wednesday at 9 p.m. EST? Profound, absolutely profound. What's going on?
Is the goat.
What's going on over there in the Skylander universe?
Posted a video a week ago. It's doing pretty good. It has
pretty good.
Let me see real quick. 39,000 views.
It has 39.
So guys, go watch it, please.
With a capital T.
Expect a new video coming out on Survivor kind of soon.
Yep. Yep.
So there's that
All
too.
right, guys.
That's
Well,
about it.
none of this happens like you guys. We're just weird guys speaking into weird microphones. And if that's how to talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.